Hello, friends. We're here with new youth leader Adrian Fanaru, who is here for us for a few questions. And I would like to welcome you to listen to this interview so you heard something new and it will be very interesting. Hello, brother Adrian.
Hello.
Welcome to this interview and thank you for the opportunity to ask you a few questions.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, we are in Brazil. How do you feel being here?
I feel very well. I came to Brazil a few times and I always come with pleasure because I believe they have a welcoming spirit. And it's always good to find persons who you can synchronize with so easily, considering the fact that I have some Latin background coming from Romania. It's always good to come here.
Yeah, it's good to know because we are from Moldova and it will also very related to Romania, so we feel here like at home. This is not your first time in Brazil, right? This time, what inspired you most here? What was the most that you liked here?
Well, what I liked is the patience that the organizers had with over 6,000 persons coming from different cultures, speaking different languages. So the patience they had to attend to everybody's needs was really inspiring, and I think we can always learn from that. And what also inspired me was the capability they had to bring so many people together to sing in a choir that is so large, and also in just a couple of days to practice with the orchestra and be able to play so nicely as if they always play together.
Yeah, I have to be honest, that was also very impressive for me because I've never saw such a big choir and I've never saw such a big orchestra, so they played together and it was really big impressions and moments. So as I understand, you liked to be here in Brazil.
Yes, I did.
How do you like food here?
Well, when we come to big camp meetings, it's not a good representation of the cultural habits and foods that they have. The best way to understand a culture through food is when you visit a family or when you visit a small group meeting, right? So the food here is always extraordinary. I really appreciate it. And there are a few things that I like the most. And they all know. When I visit, they all prepare the acai, they prepare the coconuts for me, and they prepare the best food.
Yeah, that's really good to know because here we really enjoy the fruits. The fruits taste really delicious here, and the taste is different. And you were mentioning that you had a chance to visit the local church and the local family. The whole sermon, is it any different to the sermon we're used to have in Romania, maybe America, Moldova?
Well, the truth is the same. The dynamics change a little bit. And they have, if you listen to Brazilian preachers, they are very well educated. It's a developed country. As far as religion is concerned, religion in many lives, in many families, is the first thing they consider as most important. So they are well prepared, they are eloquent, and you can understand it better when you know their language.
Yeah, it's so true. Now, a few next questions would be before that I congratulate you on your new role. You are now elected a youth leader. Yes. How do you feel about that?
I feel a little surprised that I was elected the youth leader. I didn't come ready for this. But I've always been involved with the young people. I always loved working with them. It didn't matter what department I was leading. The Lord has impressed me and has convinced me that the young people play an important role in every department, like canvassing and missionary department. And now being with the youth is just, if I can say that, is the cherry on the top of the cake, which is everything I could ask for as far as the opportunity to learn more, to develop at a personal level, at a professional level as a pastor, it's a good opportunity because those that you teach the most are the ones that teach you the most.
You mentioned that you come from canvassing department.
Yes.
Now you're transferred to youth department. Do you think that your experience in canvassing department will help you establish really good relations with the youth in the next 5 years?
Of course, I believe canvassing has prepared the way for me to become a youth leader in the sense that I had a lot of youth in my activities. And the canvassing department, I believe it's a more difficult department to deal with because you have to, on one hand, in some countries you have a lot of experienced canvassers and you have to live up to their expectations. And on the other hand, in some countries, canvassing has been forgotten. And we had to make a special effort to resurrect canvassing. And then, on the other hand, canvassing in some countries never existed, and you have to work in pioneering it, start from the beginning. So it has been really difficult.
So you are used to travel, right?
Yes.
Now, on the new role, do you think that you will travel more?
I think I will travel more because in the canvassing, I had control over my schedule. But with the young people, there are always calls that are important, and the schedule is being made by the units of the General Conference, not necessarily by the department itself. And it will be hard for me to refuse invitations to go to camp meetings or to go to youth seminars when I know there are so many young people waiting and expecting me to be there.
How did your family react on your elections? Are they ready that you will be traveling more?
I don't think so. They kind of expected me to stay at home a little longer because time is going by. They feel the need of my presence there. But at the same time, they were happy just because they know how much I love to work with the young people. And they know that when I'm enthusiastic about doing something, I will make up for my absence when I come back home. So they are happy that I can serve the young people.
This is really good to know. And about activity in the church, activity among the youth. You are now leader of youth department. For the next 5 years, you maybe not planned, but at least you've considered some new activity, new involvement. How would you encourage, how would you raise the awareness within the church, within the youth? Do you think you already plan something to do?
Today, more than any other time before, we have so many available opportunities for the young people to participate. And everybody can participate in something, no matter what the talents they have are. And it's amazing how available they seem to be sacrificing. I learned that they are willing to even collect money for themselves, save money, so they can travel for a mission trip, where they actually sacrifice. They go and they sleep in not so good conditions. They spend weeks helping others without a pay, and more than this, they sacrifice from their own money for the trip to the mission field. And before, we only had a few traditional methods of work, but now we have so many, like media, we have canvassing, we have different missionary activities, and we have music, which is very well developed among us. So every young person can be involved one way or another. So I want to focus on helping young people understand that they have a role to play, and whatever that role is, it is welcomed in the church for the service of our King.
My next question would be on understanding youth. Before the interview, we were talking, and you were mentioning that this is really important to be on the same level with youth, having the same thoughts, understanding youth. Could you tell us a little more about that? How do you understand this?
You know, sometimes I'm being asked whether it is easy for me as a pastor to come down to the level of the youth. But I would say that I have to work hard to stay at the same level with them, which is always high. Their expectations are not low, they are high. And as ministers, we need to adapt to their needs. If need be, we need to go to school and learn how to work with new generations, because every generation has different expectations. They respond differently to different methods of work. And I myself am willing to keep learning so I can keep up at the same level with them and not draw them backwards, but actually keep up with them.
You were also mentioning that there is a possibility to learn from the youth. Do you think it's something related to the pastor? Can pastor learn something from youth?
Yes, and unless you learn from them, you cannot help them, right? You learn about their habits, you learn about their expectations, you learn about cultures in different parts of the world. You cannot, just like in the family, you cannot treat one child like you treat the other. Every child is different, every child has his own individuality. And so it happens even more at a worldwide level. Sometimes you just go and sit quietly and learn first. And then you may be required to change messages. You may be required to change approach just because the local expectations are different than others. So if we stop learning, we are doomed to perish, right? Yeah. We have to keep learning so we can relate to the young people the right way at the right time.
Now, every single missionary work has its own, not issues, but challenges. In canvassing, you meet challenges. How do you think the youth department and leading the youth department will be probably different to the canvassing department and challenging that you meet in leading the canvassing department?
Yeah, the greatest challenge, I believe, is to help the young people identify the opportunities they have. Because the great opportunities that we have today to reach out to the world are different from the past generations. And they are many, and they are constant. So today is not about doing missionary work, it's about being a missionary, which means whatever you do, whatever profession you have, whatever school you go to, you are a missionary. It's not what you say, it's what you are that makes a difference. And this is the challenge that we are going to have, is to convince the young people that they don't have to copy us in the way we grew up. They don't have to be the same like we were, even though sometimes we want them to. But what we need to work on is to help the young people be themselves, but dedicated to God. Not play a role, but be the role. And not speak words, but be the words. In other words, like my kids used to sing when they were small, we are a sermon in shoes, right? The way we walk, the way we dress, the way we act is going to speak more than our words. So this is what I would like the new generation to understand, because we are a peculiar people, and this is what I believe God expects from us, to be a city on a hill which cannot be hid.
Next plans. What do you plan to visit? The next country you are planning to visit, what that would be?
Well, actually, my activity as a youth leader is going to start in January. And the first country I'm going to visit is going to be Ukraine.
Ukrainian audience, this is news for you. Adrian Fanaru is coming to Ukraine on the New Year camp meeting to visit you as a youth leader. Stay tuned. Adrian, thank you very much for this message. Thank you for the interview, and may God bless you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.